What's going on YouTube? So as you probably know, the Lexus RX was one of the very first luxury crossovers on sale. And in the time since it first debuted, it has become the best-selling luxury SUV in America. Now heading into the 2022 model year, Lexus has continued to make small refinements to this perennial bestseller that so many luxury buyers choose year after year. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the review and see what has made this so popular. So getting started here with the exterior design. Of course, you're not going to notice any substantial changes to the way this looks, but for 2022, you do have a few new color options available. Now with the RX, you have basically two different design groups you can get. You've got the standard face, and you also have the F Sport. So the F Sport is going to take out the less aggressive fascia, replace it with this full black mesh fascia surrounded by the dark smoked chrome, as well as the more aggressive lower elements over here on the side. Now, talking about your headlights, you're going to have standard full LED headlights as you would expect. You do have an incandescent turn signal though, unless you go for the optional triple beam headlights. Those will get you the full LED look, but you still have the arrowhead daytime running light. And then I want to point out one change for 2022. We don't have fog lights on this specific example, but for 2022, you can get these as a standalone option. They're no longer part of a package. Next up, checking out the wheels, you continue to have a few different options. So you start out with an 18-inch alloy with a contrast finish. However, most models are going to come with 20-inch alloys. These are the specific 20-inch alloys for the F Sport model with the kind of dark gray finish. And I think they look nice. Of course, you've got your F Sport branding. And then up here at the top, we have some very nice looking mirrors. I like the way Lexus does this. This is all gloss black finished except for this nice chrome accent that runs through here. And as far as your features, starting last year, Lexus actually gives you fully loaded mirrors on every single RX. So that means you're going to have heating, you're going to have auto dimming, power folding, and blind spot monitoring.
So here at this side, you're going to notice that this is the regular two-row Lexus RX. There is a RX 350L that adds a little bit of extra length onto this model, but this is just the regular one. However, every single RX is going to have this floating roof design that it kind of goes around into the rear. Now, other than that, nothing has really changed for 2022 for this RX. This is going to be your typical RX design. It's very angular, although it still does look very classy. So we have this piece right here of smoked chrome going in between the taillights. That's going to be F Sport exclusive or just regular chrome on the other models. If we go to the taillights themselves, they're going to be a mix of partially LED. So our taillight as well as the accenting is LED. However, the turn signal and reverse light are incandescent unless you get the LED headlights in the front. Then if we drop down to the lower area, that same thing is going to play right down here. It will be chrome on the normal models or the smoked chrome for the F Sport. However, every single one of them are going to have these really nice trapezoidal integrated exhaust. Lexus is always really good about throwing in all their safety systems as standard equipment. The RX is no different, which is certainly pleasant compared to a lot of the German rivals. So we're going to have forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection, lane keeping assist, auto high beams, and adaptive cruise control, and that's going to be standard on every single RX. Well guys, as you can see, the RX is continuing on with its same design for 2022. Now let's go ahead and check out the inside, see if there are any changes in there. But before we do that, please subscribe down below. Also follow our other social medias like TikTok and Instagram.
So walking up to the RX, of course, you do have a standard smart entry system with the brand's typical key fob. And you also will have remote start as well as other remote services free for 3 years via the Inform app. Now to get inside the vehicle itself, of course, just grab behind the handle. It will unlock and your mirrors will fold out. Alright, and taking a look inside of the cabin. As you can probably tell, we're not going to see any significant design changes for 2022. However, it will continue to be a very comfortable place to spend time as always. But now let's go ahead and hop into interior color and materials, because you do have quite a few. So standard is going to be a new luxe faux leather seat in your choice of black, parchment, or birch. And then if you go up to the premium trim level, new for 2022, you've got the additional option of glazed caramel. Now, of course, we've got the F Sport, so what that's going to throw in is also the new luxe leather, but of course we've got a different seat with more aggressive bolstering. That comes in your choice of black or circuit red. And then the top end luxury model will come with special semi-aniline leather. Now turning over here to your door trim, you'll see these same materials reflected up here. So we have a nice leather padded armrest with stitching detail that runs through here, as well as the leather above that. F Sport's going to throw in the real aluminum trim, which looks nice, and the top is padded. Of course, you got 3-person memory seating on all but the very base model, and all 4 of your windows will be one-touch auto up and down. Got your aluminum pedals with the F Sport, and as far as the seats, most of the models are going to come with this 10-way power adjusting seat. However, if you choose the luxury model, that's going to throw in 4-way lumbar support as well as a power thigh extension. Then, like I was saying, the F Sport does come with this more aggressive sport seat. Really love the design of this. This, of course, is the black version, but in red it looks even cooler, and these bolsters do hold you in place nicely. And speaking of nice, this RX's cabin has always been a very nice place to spend time, and that is because it does have very nice materials which continue this year. So across your upper dashboard, you've got a nice soft touch plastic with the color contrast stitching detail. As we move down, we've got some silver trim pieces. We have a leatherette material through here. And then my favorite part about the cabin continues to be this curved trim. We have the aluminum here, but you also have different woods like a curved bamboo, which looks really slick. And then along the side here, we've got a nice leather padding for your knee to rest against, and everything fits together seamlessly. Now start up, put your foot on the brake, and press the standard button. Now in the normal version of the RX, you've got basically 2 analog gauges and a 4.2-inch multi-function display in the middle. However, with this F Sport model, this gives you these special F Sport gauges. So off to the side, you've basically got a 4.2-inch multi-function display there. However, the tachometer itself is a display which changes with your different drive modes. The only thing this does not do is it doesn't slide back and forth like some of the other Lexus products like the IS that we just recently sampled out, but still very cool looking setup. Up at the top here, we also have the optional and very large head-up display for this model. Now coming back here to the steering wheel, of course we have electric power assisted steering and a nice leather wrap steering wheel. Got the perforated bolsters and the color contrast stitching details for the F Sport model. And as far as the wheel itself, it's going to be power adjusting across every version of the RX, and then heating is available as an option. But let's go ahead and take a look around some of our interior storage solutions, because they've done a very good job here making this a versatile space. So underneath our center console here, you're greeted with a little tray. You can toss that off to the side. And then once you're looking inside here, you've got a lot of space. This is quite deep. It's actually all removable, so in case it gets dirty, you can take it out and clean it. That's a nice touch. We also have 2 USBs, an aux jack, and a 12-volt outlet. And I can already tell these coupons are going to fit in here absolutely no problem, as you can see. Now, there's other stuff available as well, including your cup holder, which is not just a regular cup holder. This front one has an adjustable height. That's pretty cool. You can slide your phone down through there to hold it in place, or you can slide it up here to hold it on the wireless phone charging pad. And then in addition to that, you've got 2 more USBs and another 12-volt outlet. Now pulling back here to the shifter. Of course, this is just a traditional gated shifter. You can push over here to the left if you want to shift manually. F Sport is going to include these silver paddle shifters as well. And then popping into reverse. You will have a standard backup camera on all the models. It will still have active trajectory, but we've got the 360-degree camera as an option on this particular model. As you can see, really huge display. You've got that view as well, and there is a special trick. We can push the button on the side of the steering wheel, which I'll go ahead and do right now. And this gives you basically a 3D spin around the vehicle. So that's a pretty cool touch. I already put the vehicle into park, but you do have an electronic parking brake and brake hold, and the parking brake does come on automatically every single time you go into park. So go back behind the shifter. Of course, you have your remote touch controller. You can also touch the display now. And then on the other side of the shifter, this is where you'll find your heated and ventilated seat control. So these are 3 stages each. They are both optional. They are both also linked automatically into the main climate control system, which is a dual zone automatic climate control setup. On the regular RX, it is 3-zone automatic if you choose that extended wheelbase L model. But of course, operation, very simple, as you can see, all physical buttons, which I like, and they're all nicely laid out right there in one spot. Speaking of nice buttons laid out in a nice arrangement, we've got our audio controls right above that and a real nice middle volume knob. So what we have on board with this model is a 12-speaker sound system. However, you can, of course, get a Mark Levinson sound system for an additional charge if that's something that you want. But let's sample this 12-speaker one. Yeah, so overall sound quality of this system is very nice. I don't think anybody will have any objections to the way this sounds, but of course, like I said, if you want that extra special sound, then you can still get the Mark Levinson. And you do have a CD player as well, which is pretty rare. Above that, you've got your analog clock, and then here is our main display. So this continues to have 2 different displays for 2022. You've got a standard 8-inch display. However, this is the optional 12.3-inch display, which does come with navigation, as you can see. The nice thing about this display is after the refresh in 2020, Lexus moved it a lot closer, so it's 5 inches closer now, and it is a touch display. So you can just click into things, which definitely makes things a lot simpler to be able to do both functions depending on what your needs are. I will also mention that this does have standard Android Auto and standard Apple CarPlay, but otherwise this is the Lexus Inform system you're used to seeing. That new generation that's coming out in the NX will probably be added to the RX when that also rolls over to the next generation. Now taking a look at the top here, we've got a frameless auto-dimming mirror with 3 HomeLink universal remotes. Got some really bright touch-sensitive LED lighting up here at the top. And on this example, we have the optional moonroof. You've got 2 different moonroofs available. You can get the standard size for, I believe, $1,300, or for a little bit more money, you can choose to get the panoramic size.
Well, hey guys, here is the RX's rear seat, and it's really hard to name a vehicle that has a more comfortable mission than this RX. So of course this rear seat is going to be very comfort focused, and I can just say that these seats are absolutely phenomenal. Now, I will go ahead and talk about the space first. We have 38 inches of legroom, 39 inches of headroom. That is for this 2-row version. It is worth noting that you can get the RXL, which does have the 3rd row in the back. This is just the regular one. But that will have a little less space if you go for the 3-row option. As far as behind receiving position, though, I have, I'd say 8 or so inches of legroom, and my feet can fit up underneath the seat. Now, as far as the features they've thrown in here in the middle, we have these vents right here. That's going to be standard equipment. If you go for the 3-row option, you do have a 3rd zone of climate in the 3rd row. And then if we drop below that, we have 2 charging USB ports. I do want to point out, though, that heated rear seats are not available on this RX model. However, we can drop down the center armrest, and there are cup holders inside. Coming up to the tailgate, a power tailgate is going to be standard equipment on the RX lineup, as you would expect out of a luxury SUV. However, they do offer a $150 standalone option as the kick tailgate that we do have on this model as well. So just kick up under the bumper to open it up. And as far as the space is concerned, back here we have 18 cubic feet behind the second row seats. If you fold them down, it goes up to 56 cubic feet as a maximum. You do have 40-20-40 split folding seats, which does help maximize your utility back here. If you go for the 3-row option, you will have, I think, 2 cubic feet more as a maximum cargo capacity, but not a huge difference. Now, the finishings, we have a cargo cover up top, we have LED lighting on the sides, and we also have our handles to fold the second row. Then if we lift up the cargo floor, it is plushly carpeted, and we have a spare tire up under there. The passenger seat, even here on the passenger side, will be power adjusting. Quite a few ways of adjustment. I believe it's 10, and we even have the power lumbar support. If we pop open the glove box, this is going to be another area where this RX does a really good job, because our coupons, of course, are a very important part about any vehicle we test out, and they fit in here no problems at all. So this is really a fantastic glove box. We also have a super nice felt lining inside. Then up top, we have a nice sun visor, we have some lighting as well as a mirror, and it does detach and extend. I'm also a big fan of the headliner, it's very soft.
Alright, so here we are, of course, taking off with this 2022 Lexus RX. And you know, the thing I always notice when I get behind the wheel of this is just how smooth and refined everything is, especially the engine. So this is the signature 3.5 liter V6 engine, making 295 horsepower. And you know, like I said, just really smooth. Always been a fan of this. Just the power delivery, of course, being naturally aspirated, is nice and linear, and then it just has that refined sound to it as you accelerate as well.
And that's really the beauty of this vehicle, is just the overall comfort. And I mean, I don't even know if a smoother engine exists. It's just so smooth, and goes with the whole mission of this vehicle, to be very comfortable. So I guess I could just go ahead and mention the ride quality. This, hands down, is one of the most comfortable cars that money can buy. And you know, we don't say that about everything, but this RX, its mission is just so to be comfortable, and it just goes for it. And it doesn't pretend to be sporty, it doesn't pretend to be anything that it's not. When you get behind the wheel, it just is comfortable. The seats are amazing, it soaks up the bumps well, even in this F-Sport trim.
Right. With the S-Sport, there is a little bit of different tuning with the shock absorbers and stuff, but if you were thinking that the F-Sport was going to make this like too hardcore for you, definitely not. This is so comfortable, you know, like you're talking like 5% maybe firmer or something like that, but it's nothing that anybody is going to notice. And you can also get the dynamic handling package with the S-Sport. We don't have that on this model, but if you choose that, that's going to throw in adaptive dampers, so that will further modify that depending on your drive modes. But again, comfort is the name of the game and always will be, no matter which model you choose.
And we are looking at 55.1 decibels for our sound level reading, which certainly is very impressive with this RX.
Right, I mean, it's just so isolated in here, it's like a library.
Yep.
Now, talking about your transmission, we do have an 8-speed automatic on board. Again, I don't want to just say the same thing over and over, but just another smooth item inside of this smooth powertrain, you know. Just kind of blends into the background, does its job. You're not going to notice it. It's not going to leave you wanting, but it's also not going to make itself known either.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just works well with this. Of course, you also have standard front-wheel drive with this model. You can optional all-wheel drive for an additional charge.
So since we were talking about the drivetrains, there are going to be 2 fuel economies. Front drive is going to be 23 combined. All-wheel drive is going to be 22 combined, which is very class competitive. If that's not good enough for you fuel economy-wise, Lexus does offer an RX hybrid, which we will cover in a separate review, probably coming pretty soon. But I can just go ahead and kick us off with our slam dunk today for the RX. I think this will come as no surprise to any of you all what this vehicle slam dunk is. It's going to be just overall comfort and luxury. This, like I've said, I'm not going to reiterate exactly what I said again and again, but this really is as luxurious as you can get, especially for this price point. Like, you don't see this type of level of luxury and comfort until you get into a 6-figure price point. Like, this is really, really impressive.
Right, and a lot of the competition, you'd have to get an air suspension to have this much comfort. Now, on the airball side of things, I've got one issue with this vehicle that kind of has bothered me year after year. That's the fact you don't have the fully LED lights on all the models. You have to pay extra to get the triple beams. Those are the really cool looking headlights. I think that's what should be standard on all the models. That's what looks cool. That's what looks, you know, competitive to like an Audi or something like that. Whereas this one still has the incandescent headlights, and most of the models do have this setup.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about the pricing. That's another strong suit for the RX, because it's certainly not going to be as expensive as a German rival. So we're going to start at $45,320. The F Sport's $48,800. And this one, as equipped, is going to be coming in at $58,465.
But overall, I think it's very obvious why the RX has been the best-selling luxury SUV for a long time and continues to be today. That's because it knows its mission and it sticks to it absolutely. Comfort is the name of the game with the RX, and that premium experience, comfort experience, that continues year after year to be one of the best options you could possibly get if that's your mission as well.
Well guys, that's all for this in-depth review of the 2022 Lexus RX 350 F Sport. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful, please hit that subscribe button down below. Also tap the notification bell. And don't just do that, because we do also have plenty of other social media platforms, including TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat, so be sure to check those out. And we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.